So today we'll be discussing different levels of consciousness. So yesterday we discussed about how to start hearing Krishna's voice, and we discussed that it's Krishna is always trying to speak to us, but it is we who has to tune ourselves to the Krishna's frequency to be able to hear Krishna's voice. So it is pretty much connected to the previous topic what we are discussing today, but in a more depth, more detailed, in a more deeper way, dwelling into the dwelling in this understanding. So basically, it is said that we are all spiritual being having the human experience. So how many of you think that we are human being having a spiritual experience? How
I
many of
think
you
so.
think? So you think that we are human being having a spiritual experience, or we are spiritual being having a human experience?
Spiritual being.
So
What
are
should
we
I
human?
use?
Are we human being having a spiritual experience, or are we spiritual being having a human experience?
Spiritual
Spiritual
being
being.
having a human experience.
Yes. So we are spiritual being having a human experience. So Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita, Avinashi tu tadviddi yena sarvam idam tatam. That experience of a person is happening because of the presence of consciousness. A robot, a mobile phone, a recorder may hear and see me, but there will be no experience, there will be no observation. So me as a person is able to observe, is able to experience whatever is going around me is because of presence of consciousness. Is because of me I am able to see, touch, smell, taste, and hear. That is a spiritual being faculties, is spiritual being facilities. So if it is me who is having a human experience, so there are some spiritual being having a bird experience. There are some spiritual being having a peacock experience. There are spiritual being having a tree experience. There are spiritual being having a tiger experience. So if different spiritual being having different type of experiences, what differentiates them? Although we are all same spiritual being, but what is a differentiating factor which differentiate the human experience versus animal experience?
The
So what
intellect.
intellect? Okay, sometimes the animals are more intelligent in different ways, and sometimes human being themselves, there are same lookingly same experience, same human being, different human being having the same experiences may have different intellect or may have same intellect. Sometime, let's say if everybody have a same IQ in a room, let's say 10 people have same IQ, do you think all of them will be having same experience of life?
No.
No. So our experience is not dependent on IQ, it is dependent on something else. So what do you all think, what differentiate the experience we have as a spiritual being into different species? The differentiating factor is how much evolved the consciousness is. For example, so there are 5 levels of consciousness. The first level of consciousness is known as covered consciousness, is known as Achadita, Avrita consciousness. This Achadita, this covered consciousness, is mainly found in trees and plants. So trees and plants and stones, sometimes the mountains also have consciousness. The tree also have consciousness. They can smell and they can see. The trees can see, by the way. So whenever you try to distract or try to obstruct the path, the growth of a plant, they would naturally turns toward other side. You would experience it because the the Subhash Chandra Bose in 1990s, he had discovered by an experiment that plants can feel the touch of air. So plants and the trees can experience consciousness, but they are able to experience the life at a very, very minimal level, only by seeing and only by touching. So that is known as avrita or covered consciousness. So when it moved to the next level of consciousness, it goes to Sankuchita, uh, uh, Sankuchita consciousness, means shrunken consciousness. Shrunken consciousness means there is a little more higher level of consciousness than planned, but still it is very shrunk. And where do we find such a consciousness? We find that kind of a consciousness in animals. Like a verse comes in Padma Puran that there are 20 lakh different types of plants and trees. 20 lakh different types based upon minute differences in their consciousness. And after that comes the animals. So now somebody can say what is like wrong with having animal consciousness. There was once a person, I was kind of speaking with him, and he was saying that you see, we try to make so much of differentiation between animals and humans. So for me, I'm an animal lover, and I do not see any difference between animal and human. And he even extended himself to say, in next lifetime, I want to become tiger. In next lifetime, I want to become dog because dogs are so loving. I go to my house and nobody asks about me, nobody comes to me, but my dog comes running towards me, hug me, love me, and caresses me. I want to become dog. So if you were to logic with this person, or if you were to just say agree or disagree, what would you say? What is wrong in becoming dog? Because after all, they're conscious being having a different type of experiences. So what's wrong with them? Why do we vilify them so much? So what do you all think? That what's wrong with animals? Why we have to vilify their life? And there are some people who likes to become animals, and so what's wrong with them?
Animals don't uh, animals don't have these ignorance or ego or any, like, they are more loving than the human beings, because humans are covered with all the um, things, like, which is not required in the life, the
So
hatred,
what?
like,
Yeah. So what you're saying is that sometimes it's better to become animal than to remain human.
uh,
Okay. So what's
uh,
the actual difference between the human being and animal is? See, if there was to be a dog in this particular room, and all of you are hearing, and let's say different dogs or different cats at your places are hearing me, will they be able to really understand what we are talking about? Different level of consciousness, human being, animals, God, hearing God's voice. Do you all think they'll
no.
be able to comprehend what we are talking about?
They lack spirituality.
They lack spirituality and they lack a specific function which differentiate human being, that is to understand the purpose of life. Their life is governed instinctively only because of having to fulfill their survival strategies. For them, only thing what matters is shelter, food, and water. Any source, through any source, they are able to receive this shelter, food, and the water. They will become loving toward that person. So their love is not coming out of their heart. Their love is coming out of because they're dependent on you. They're dependent on you for their survival strategies, survival instincts. So because of that, their consciousness is very completely covered, like very kind of shrunken consciousness. So from plants, you move to so even like say plants are not able to express those feelings. What animal can express, but animals are able to express those emotions, those feelings because of the survival instincts. Because they have something to receive from you. They need to be protected by you. They need water from you. They need food from you. They need shelter from you. So that's second level of consciousness. The third level of consciousness is Mukulita consciousness. Mukulita consciousness means like a budding. Budding means starting to come out. Like the completely covered consciousness, Avrita consciousness. Second level of consciousness is Sankucha consciousness, which is kind of shrunken and lot contracted. The third level is budding, is starting to come out, Mukulita consciousness. So Mukulita consciousness actually means that all their sense perceptions are very active. So mostly human beings. Here comes very interesting point. So human being, it is said that we have 4 lakh type of human beings. You might have all heard, right? There are 84 lakh kind of species in the overall. We say 84 lakh yonia. I'm sure all of you would have heard at different times, right? So out of this 84 lakh species, the 4 lakh species is of human species. So now, if you can say, okay, 4 lakh species are human species. So now, is different people having human experience are experiencing life in a similar way? So what do you all think? So we have different type of human beings to interact with different type of human beings. And human being, when I say they have 2 hands, 2 legs, they look like human being, male or female. So when male and female they look alike in with certain distinction in their physical structures. So do you think that all the different human beings experience life in a similar way? No,
No.
they experience life in a different way. So what is this differentiating factor here? Again, in itself. In human life itself, the differentiating factor between different types of human beings is to what degree their consciousness is evolved. So, for example, it is said that out of 84 lakh species, 4 lakh are human being, around 5%. So, 5% of the total collective consciousness on this planet Earth, on this whole universe, is 5% is human species. And it is said among human species also, there are huge percentage of human species who does not believe in God, who are completely uncivilized, who don't have any civic manners. And among them comes, there are so many people living in the Amazon forest and they celebrate the death of their grandfathers so that they can feast on their grandfather's body. So can you imagine? There exists human being on this planet Earth who are celebrating their grandfather's death because they enjoy the feasting on a grandfather's dead body. They're also human being. But what degree of consciousness they have, what kind of evolution they have, what kind of thinking they have, what kind of lifestyle they're leading is completely uncivilized. It is said that only 5% of that 5% of the 5% of human being actually are theistic. They believe in some higher power. They believe in some higher nature. They believe there exists God. There is somebody who is looking on top of you. He's in control, and he's the one who is master of everything. Only 5% of this 5%. So how much is 5% of 5%? It is 0.125%. So only 0.125% actually are able to understand that there exists some higher power. We need to worship now. Out of that 0.125%, most of the people are kind of distracted in enjoying life, and they think that by praying to the God, by doing certain rituals, by doing certain processes, we can fulfill our desires. So again, it remains about me. How can I use the different worships method to get satisfaction from my own self? So most of the people, even though they believe in God, they have that Sukh Sampati Gar, where they're like all the prayers are about how can I attract wealth, how can I attract good people, how can I attract good house, how can I attract richness in my life, right? More or less. So only 5% of the people understand that it is not about me, it is about God now. Let me also start sacrificing something for God's purpose. So only 5% of this 0.15% start appreciating, being grateful, start sacrificing something for the higher cause. Like there are people who like to give charities, there are people who like to do good to people, there are people who like to sacrifice their time, their wealth, their energies, their intellect for a higher purpose. It becomes 5% of this 0.125%. How much it remains? 0.0625%. So 0.0625% of the people of the whole level of consciousness is only sacrificing something for the higher cause. Okay, let us move further. So out of these people who are kind of sacrificing results for the higher purpose, only few of them really start understanding, who am I? What is the purpose of life? What am I supposed to be doing after this lifetime is no more existing? What is my destination after this lifetime? What is my position in the whole universe? Why do I exist? Why do other people exist? Why do karma exist? Why it is happening to me, the thing it is happening to me? Is there any other world? Is there any other dimensions of life? So when these questions start penetrating your mind, that is when the filter happens. The filter is again the 5%. Only the 5% of this 0.06 to 5% is actually able to have these penetrating questions, able to have this very distinction, the fine intelligence to be able to differentiate who am I as a spiritual being and who is what is this body. So again, like how much is like 5% of 0.06 to 5%? You can just calculate 0.0003% maybe. And again, out of these people who are actually able to think in those lines, only a 5% of this spectrum is able to realize themselves as a spiritual being. And that helps us taking to the next level of consciousness, which is known as Vikasit consciousness, blossoming consciousness. Blossoming consciousness means who are practicing some spiritual life to realize themselves as a spiritual being. Like what we are doing right now is discussing from Bhagavad Gita, discussing from the Vedic literatures to be able to understand what is happening around me, what is the purpose of life, what am I supposed to be doing. So have able to have this comprehension ability to be able to make those finer distinctions in our life. Intelligence is defined by having finer distinction. So the more we are able to finely distinct between people, between emotions, between the thought processes, between myself and this body, the more we are actually gradually evolving in our consciousness. So now the 5% of this 0.003% who are able to realize themselves actually start serving the Lord, actually start serving, identifying, and reaching to the God. I mean, till now it was about separating the spirituality and finding myself and able to see that I'm a conscious being, I'm not this body. Is a very rare person. And Krishna himself explains in the Bhagavad Gita, Manusyanam sahasreshu kasi yadisiddhaye yatatam api siddhyanam kasya mam veti tattvataha. Krishna is saying that out of thousands of people, only one will try to seek the truth. Only one person out of millions of persons will try to see that what is spirituality, who am I, what is the purpose of life. And out of them who are searching for this truth, if you were to have them collectively bring them together, even out of them, only one person will be able to understand the reality of life. So then it moves to the next level, that to be able to start identifying what is my source. Who is my source? So Krishna is my source. I'm supposed to be serving him. I'm supposed to be chanting his name. I'm supposed to be connecting to him and dedicating my life only for his purpose. So how much percentage it is? 5% of 0.00001%. So in that sense, 99.999% of the people of this population are not bothered about who is God in real sense, to be able to connect to him, not for wanting anything from him, not approaching him out of fear, not approaching God out of duty, not approaching Krishna out of wanting something, but actually approaching Krishna out of love, actually approaching Krishna out of wanting to give back something to him, actually approaching Krishna to know that he's my source, I'm connected to him, let me reconnect myself back to him. So, if we as a human being are able to come to this point of being able to understand Bhagavad Gita, be able to understand that what is this purpose of life, then we actually are the top 0.00001% in the whole spectrum of consciousness. And the purpose of life is to maintain that and to keep upgrading our consciousness higher and higher. But if we also use our higher facilities, what we have been given, only for four purposes: eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. If we only uses our human form of life only for these four purposes, that is to eat, different sophisticated ways of eating. Animal also eat, and the satisfaction what animal gets after eating, it is same what we get after eating, because after the food passes through your throat, it was same process after that. The digestion process is same. It is going to become same thing, stool, isn't it? So just because of the taste bud, it may give you some distinction. Okay, this is salty, this is sweet. You can have this distinction. But if we spend all of our energy just for this one purpose, are we really justifying this great facility of human life which is being given to us? If you're using this such a profound understanding about life just to gain some nice sleeping, good facility for sleeping, are we justifying the great potential we all of us have as a human being to be able to uplift ourselves to the higher and higher level of consciousness and to really transcend the whole material creation just for eating, sleeping, finding your mate, and defending and being fearful about life and protecting yourself? How much of our energy is consumed in these survival instincts, and how much of my energy is actually being used for what it was blessed to us? So we move through the 5S. First S is survival instincts. We all have this survival instincts, and survival instinct as the animal has. Then we move to the next level, stability. Okay, now I don't have to worry about eating, sleeping, and mating. There's all taken care. I have sufficient money, sufficient means to take care of it. I don't have to constantly keep thinking like animal things. I have some stability in those regards. So from survival, you come to stability. And from stability, we move to the next level, which is to, okay, not everybody is happy having a stable life. They have a deep desire to become successful in their life. Successful in different ways. I mean, I want to become successful as a husband. I want to become successful as a wife. I want to become successful as an entrepreneur. I want to become successful as a doctor. I want to become successful as a lawyer. There has to be success. I should be tasting success. In that way, you don't think about eating, sleeping, mating. Your energy is not consumed there. Your energy is more consumed about success. How can I be successful? And from success, we are successful now in the people's eyes. What legacy, what significance are we going to create? How people are going to remember me? Leaving a legacy. You see, moving from survival to the next level of stability, to the third level of success, to the fourth level of significance. And the fifth level is known as spirituality. Spirituality is what truly human life is given for. So, if in human form of life we are not understanding about true principles of life, about spirituality, about what Krishna is saying, about developing that interest to let me figure out from the Bhagavad Gita what is Krishna trying to teach me. If we are not interested in that and only interested in lower things, still there is a lot more to develop in our own level of consciousness. And the thinking, sometimes people say that, what about thinking? People think so differently. Sometimes people think so mean. Sometimes people think about so, when we have talk among different peoples, such a cheap talk they're having. I mean, they're just talking about backbiting, backbitching, talking about this nonsense thing. Somewhere I don't feel I'm at the right place. Does it happen with all of you? I mean, any of you? That you feel you're at the
Yes,
wrong place when
Prabhuji.
you start hearing about what people thinks about life?
Yes, yes, Prabhuji.
So why do you think it happens? It is because the different levels of consciousness produces different type of thinking. So thinking, anybody who have any kind of thinking is because the lower and higher level of consciousness. If you have a higher level of consciousness, automatically you have a higher type of thinking. Your thinking is to help other. You become more compassionate. You become more kind. So all the good quality, whatever we want to develop in us, it all comes to us automatically by upgrading our consciousness. It says, Yasyasti Bhakti Bhagavati Akinchana Sarve Gune Tatra Samasita Sura Harav Abhaktasa Kuto Mahadguna Manorathena Sato Dhavato Baihi. When we start gradually becoming more and more Krishna conscious, the highest level of consciousness is to be conscious of Krishna, is to be aware that how Krishna is providing me everything, how Krishna is maintaining this world, how Krishna is my source, how Krishna is trying to love me and trying to bring me back to his abode. The more and more we become aware of Krishna consciousness, automatically all these wonderful good qualities, good thinking, good habit will start manifesting in our personality. The shortcut of expediting ourselves in this different levels of consciousness is to fulfill the human life, is to go more and more closer to Krishna. The more we become close to Krishna, the more we are chanting Krishna's name. And the best way to keep Krishna closest to you is by chanting his holy name. So by chanting Krishna's name, we is like a magnet, is pull our consciousness from lower degrees and like an elevator. You don't have to go if you are to go to the 100th floor, it take long time to cross through stairs, go to the first floor, second floor. But if you can find a lift which is working, you are in the lift, it just takes you directly to the 100th floor in no time. Similarly, when we are chanting Krishna's name out of our heart, we are every day we are going more and more closer to Krishna. We are at a elevator of elevating ourselves at a very fast speed in different layers of consciousness. So, if you were to ask me personally, what has worked out for me, I was not having this kind of a thinking, this kind of a consciousness 15 years back. If I was not chanting Krishna's name, if I was not reading Bhagavad Gita, if I was not associating with devotees, I would be maybe at a much lower level of consciousness. I would be doing same thing what other people does, of fighting for the eating, sleeping, and mating and defending. The only differentiating factor in my life in the last 15 years is only chanting Krishna's name. That is what I can share with all of you. That has worked out for me. That has worked out with so many devotees, and that is what is been given in the Vedic literatures. By keeping Krishna more and more close to us, we're actually on the fast track route of expanding our consciousness from the animalistic consciousness to the highest level of consciousness. From this Achadita, Sankuchita, and Mukulita, Viksita to Purna Viksita. Purna Vikasit is the highest level of consciousness, which is like fully blossomed. I'm acting out of my highest potential. Right now, the soul is not acting out of the highest potential. The soul is acting out of very low potential. Let's say if the soul has 100% capabilities, the soul, even in this human form of life, is not operating even with 2% of potential. You can just imagine the most intelligent person in the whole world, whoever you could be, is only utilizing 1% of the soul's potential. If we were to expand and to is to access to our highest potential as a soul also, it is said that we, if we were to collectively bring 100 like 1,000 suns together, you see how much is potential in one sun. One sun is able to give life to the whole universe. And the highest potential the soul has is, if you were to combine thousands of suns potential together, that is the soul's potential. So if we want to really access to our greatest potential, depends what level of consciousness you are. The more higher level of consciousness, the more we will be able to access to our higher potential, and the more we will be able to do justice to our true human form of life. So that is what we can understand from this five level of consciousness, and the way out of developing this all different type of consciousness to the highest level of consciousness. So we'll conclude here. If anybody have any doubts, any questions, anybody would like to share anything, any comment, we'll just open for that right now. So any comment, any questions, any share, any realization, anything you would like to share? What struck you? What kind of moved you? What you would like to take it forward with yourself?
Um, Today's topic is a little bit complicated for me, Prabhuji, but overall, end result is, pray to God every day. Chanting name.
Yes. Yeah, it's a little complex. At the same time, if you were to ask me in a very simplistic understanding, that we have a potential that we have never access to. Who we are in reality, we have no idea who we are. We have no understanding how much great potential we have, and by practicing spiritual life seriously, we can start accessing to our own true potential.
So, Prabhuji, what are your comments on people say, if you are going through difficulties in your life, you need to um, do this, do pradakshina to some tree, banyan tree, or do this, do that, compared to just chanting Krishna's name.
Yeah. So, for example, I will share one example. If let's say you, Lakshmi, have four daughters. Let's say, or you have one daughter, but let's say you have four daughters.
Mm-hmm.
So one daughter is very scared of you. So she follows your instruction, whatever you say, because she's very fearful of you. Or if I don't do my homework, my mama is gonna beat me up. If I don't do this, my mummy is gonna punish me. If I don't do that, that my mama is not gonna give me food. Okay, that's one daughter. Second daughter
Mm-hmm.
is okay. I am not fearful of my mother, but if I serve my mother, then my mother is going to give me something. My mother is going to give me some money, some reward, some whatever. So she's obeying you because she wants something from you. First daughter is very scared of you. That's why she's obeying your instruction. Second daughter is that she wants something from you, and that is why she's obeying your instruction. She's following whatever you're saying. Third daughter, she understands, okay, I'm not scared of my mother because she's very loving, and I don't want anything from her, but I just want to serve her because she has given me so much. She has given me birth. She has given me so much of. She has made me a capable person. She has given me so much in my life. I'm so grateful. Let me serve my mother only out of duty. I'm duty bound to serve my mother. Third daughter. And there's a fourth daughter. The fourth daughter says, I don't care about punishment from my mother because she will never punish me. And I don't want anything from her. I just wants to be with her because I love her so much. I just wants to be with her because she loves me so much. I just wants to follow whatever she's saying to me because that enhances the beautiful reciprocation between both of us. So you have four daughters, Lakshmi ji. Which do you think will be
Yes,
the
Prabhuji.
most dearest to you?
The fourth one,
The fourth one. Why?
because she does not want anything from me.
Yes.
She's just feeling my affection. She just want my affection. Yeah.
Yes. She just wants your affection. Similarly, we also as a child of God can approach Krishna in four different ways. Oh, I want to approach God because if I don't follow Allah, then He's gonna cut all of us. If I don't follow this, then Allah is gonna burn to us in the hell out of fear. Approaching God out of fear. Oh, let me pray to go to church, pray to Jesus so that I can get something from Him. Give me my daily breads. Please give me something. Yes, approaching God, but out of wanting something. Oh, let us go to this tirtha, that tirtha, because if you do this, that is the purpose of life. Let me do my duty of human form of life. Let me worship. Third level. But whenever we approach Krishna out of sheer love, out of sheer affection, out of sheer gratitude, He's the one who has given me everything in my life. Let me dedicate, let me chant His name out of love because I'm not chanting His name to want anything from Him. I'm just chanting His name because it gives pleasure to Him and it helps me connecting to Him. So now, circling back to your question, which do you think is better? Is approaching God, I mean, chanting His name out of love, or to circling around banyan tree to avoid something or to get something?
But that's what we were taught, like if you're having difficulties in your life, or if sometimes the bad period is going on in your life, so you need to do like give the money to Christians, so they'll do puja for you, homam, or do pradakshina to banyan tree, or lit, and 7 Saturdays you need to do fasting and pray to God.
Yeah.
We were brought up like that.
Yes, yes, we're all brought up like that. In fact, I also was brought up like this. Till the time I understood, if I am being surrounded by the love of the Lord, then no problem can really touch me. If I'm connected to the supreme power, supreme powerful being in the whole creation, in the whole universes, is spiritual and material, what problem can really touch me? It's like saying, oh, I have $1 million, but I'm worried how would I pay my $100 debt?
Mm.
If you have $1 million, will you be really cared about you have $100 debt or you have to give $100 to somebody?
No, I don't.
No.
Some people, few people tell what you are telling me, just pray to God, He'll take care of all the things in your life. You need to believe. Um, Sometimes it comes and goes into my mind. Maybe by praying every day, or
Yes.
I
So
think
that is where the
I need to strengthen my spiritual life, I
yes,
believe.
yes, yes, yes. So that is what I meant. The level of consciousness is dependent how much you can surrender. The one level of
Mm.
consciousness says, I want to approach God, but only approach out of fear. But one
Mm-hmm.
level of consciousness is, I want to just serve the Lord out of sheer love, out of gratitude, out of affection, and He will take care of everything. That faith,
Mm-hmm.
and that is being earned, that is being developed by
Mm-hmm.
practicing spiritual life.
Yeah.
When we
Thank you,
constantly
Prabhuji.
practice spiritual life by
Mm-hmm.
chanting Krishna's name, by associating with devotees, by reading Bhagavad Gita, by worshipping the Lord, by surrounding yourself with that kind of an atmosphere, it helps you slowly uplifting your consciousness. And once your consciousness is uplifted, then you don't have to worry about small thing. You will naturally think like this.
Okay. Yeah, thank you,
This
Prabhuji.
Yeah. So this
Yeah.
natural thinking process will evolve based upon the level of consciousness. That's the whole essence of our session. Is a level of consciousness. Depends what level of consciousness we are. That kind of thinking we will generate, and that kind of faith we will have, and that is how we will approach Krishna. Out of fear, out of love, out of wanting, or out of love. Does it make more sense for you now?
Yeah, yeah. I just need to practice praying to chanting God's name every day, but at least to me, I get carried away with my works. Or sometimes, God is. It, I shouldn't say this, but my thought process, and anyway, God is not a human being. I mean, not a. He's not like, if God is like a human being, living, walking God, then I would be scared. Oh, I didn't pray to him today. He may but it's in the puja room. He's not punishing me. You know what I'm saying, Prabhuji? Like,
Yeah.
it.
Basically, we don't have fear. He's gonna if. How does it really make difference if I don't pray to him one day? It doesn't make any difference
Yeah,
to my life. So
yeah,
it's like not giving importance and not creating urgency out of it. See, tomorrow
yeah.
that you may be having good life, but what is the guarantee? 100% guarantee. And you can just. I'm sorry if I'm little triggering. It could be little
No,
triggering,
no.
but what is the guarantee that tomorrow you will be alive?
Mm-hmm.
You're a doctor, right? At any point of time anything can happen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is it not like an urgency? What is going to happen to me in the next lifetime, and what decides in which lifetime I'm going to be taking birth in? What is going to be my situation in the next lifetime?
Yeah.
So creating urgency and understanding its importance is very, very crucial thing, right? I mean, when you study your MBBS, your medical degree, you only have 4 years. If you don't study
Mm-hmm.
today, then you're gonna fail and you're not gonna pass your exam, right? The sense of
Mm-hmm.
urgency and
Mm-hmm.
importance, because it's very very evident to you. Similarly,
Yeah.
when slowly we expand our consciousness, move from this Sankuchita, Mukulita to Viksit consciousness, then we will say, oh my God, I have been thinking so long all across. But it will take time. It will take
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
practice. And that is an
Yeah.
effort should be putting in our human form of life. That is
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
actually worth putting effort for. Rest
Mm-hmm.
everything has come, has gone away. Nothing will gonna sustain. Everything will be
Mm-hmm.
crushed by time.
Yeah.
Tell me one thing, all of you can share your views. What is two things which will never be crushed by time? No time can take it from you. And what are the two things which will be crushed by time? Which will be taken by time?
Bhagavad Nam will never be crushed. Or
Yes. Yes.
that's
Krishna will never be crushed by time because he's a master of time.
and maybe our karmas, if we keep doing good karmas,
Our
so our
bhakti.
bad
Our
bhakti.
karma is also kind of variable, it keeps changing, but our bhakti will never be crushed by time. Our chanting will never be crushed by time. Our spirituality will never be crushed by time. My wealth, my body, my house, my family, everything will be crushed by time. Time will come and just crush it. Crushing happens like when bulldozer comes, just crush it. Time has that jaw, like a jaw of time, just crush everything. Like when any animal enters into the lion's mouth, just crush it. Like, very feelinglessly. When tiger comes, do you think tiger feels, oh, I'm now crushing this animal, let me feel little pain about this animal? No, the animal doesn't feel that way. When the tiger crushes like ferociously without emotionlessly. So when time comes, the time crush like without having any emotion, will be just crushed by time. So now it's up to us. Do we want to engage in activity and make our eternal assets? And our eternal asset is the higher your level of consciousness is, that is your actual asset. So whatever you have earned at a soul level, that would be your real eternal asset. But whatever you have done apart from that, it helps you making a living, helps you maintaining your life, but that would be crushed by time. Could be in this lifetime, could be once you just pass away, and there is nobody who has lived eternally. So does it make sense for you, Lakshmi ji, right now? What we are discussing?
Yes, Prabhuji. I just need to be more sincere.
Yeah.
Even though God is not walking, I mean, God is not a living person. Where I have to be accountable to Him. I need to, yeah.
He is a living person, but not in our dimension. He's in a different dimension.
Yeah,
In a
exactly.
spiritual
Yeah.
dimension. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody else have any other doubts, any other questions, any other comment before we conclude?
Yeah, I guess that's the reason, attending to these classes and being with the surrounding with the devotees, or that's how our thing will improve.
Yes. So this group, what we have, is about satsanga.
Yeah.
Satsanga means able to reflect back and understand what is really truth. Sat means satya. What is really satya?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Differentiating satya from falsity. So what we'll do is we'll chant one round of Hare Krishna mantra right now, and because today is Ekadashi right now here in India, and yesterday was in US, so we'll be chanting one round of Hare Krishna mantra. So for the session we are concluding, I'll be stop recording so that. And for the session, I think somebody had a raise hand.